Hello. My name is Jhunelle and I am a full-time travel blogger at simplylocal.life. Now, simplylocal.life, as you can see a preview on the right, is a Jamaican travel and lifestyle blog. I am born and grown in Jamaica, and honestly, 2 or 3 times a year for a vacation just wasn't doing it for me, so I figured, why not vacation in my own country? So what started out as a hobby turned into a blog, which eventually turned into a business, and here I am today, 3 years later, doing it full time. So what I'm going to do today is help you create a blog, whether you haven't started, just starting, or you're experienced and you probably want to see what else you can learn and how to do it better. So just for those who haven't seen, who don't know, let me give you a quick introduction to simplylocal.life over here on the right. It's a little preview, some of the latest posts, and the categories are what to do, where to swim, where to stay, and where to eat. Of course, I also show Jamaican made products and businesses because we have to support your own. And if you sign up to the mailing list, you can also get my travel secrets with my favorite places in Jamaica, what I carry in my travel bag, things like that. And of course, if everybody loves a discount, I have discounts for you there as well. So you can check it out after this live and see what you can learn about Jamaica, about travel, about making the most of what you can. But that's simplylocal.life. So as I said, why we're all here today is that so you can learn more about blogging, whether you're just starting out, have not started yet, or you're looking to further your blogging. And feel free to submit questions during. I'll answer them as I can and as I go along. So the first thing I want to go to is how to be a blogger. What do you need to start a blog? Now, for those who don't know, a blog is typically a website. Of course, now in the Instagram era, the social media era, a lot of people rely solely on social media, but a website is important for a blog because the main component of a blog is articles and posts. And unlike social media, the lifespan of articles and blogs last a lot longer than a few days. I have posts from the very beginning, 3 years ago, that are still being read today. And even when I don't post as often as I would like or as often as I should, for whatever reason, I still get a consistent web traffic thanks to some of the methods and implementations that I make to the site. And we're going to talk about that a little later. But what you need to start a blog, I would say a website. And there is a previous Facebook Live by Sutanya Magorj, another Love Not Likes member like myself, who expressed why you need to have your own website. So after this, you can go back on Jamaicans.com video history and check that out and get more details on the website aspect of it from Sutanya. But here's why you need a blog. Longevity, search engine optimization, portfolio in one. It's a lot easier to traverse than random posts on social media, etc., etc. And some of you may wonder, what should my website include? Firstly, you need a hosting platform. And for those who don't know, in layman's terms, that means a space on the internet. So like how right now we're on facebook.com, Facebook has its own space on the internet. So you need somewhere on the internet to put your blog. So Tanya also speaks more on that on her live, so you can learn more about it there, as I said earlier. A domain name, which is the website. So facebook.com is Facebook's domain name. Jamaicans.com is Jamaican's website's domain name. Simplylocal.life is my domain name. So typically the URL address, that's the domain. Of course, You need content in the form of blog post, an about page, pictures, videos, etc. The things that we produce daily, weekly, monthly, those are what you need on your site. And the more content, the better, because that increases the probability of you being seen and of you being found by new people, and thus growing your audience and your reach. So other things people may not think about is security. So things like SSL certificates, which are needed mostly in cases where you're probably selling something online. Maybe you have an e-commerce website, and SSL certificates would be needed from there because it helps to protect your information. So if you're shopping online on, let's say, Amazon.com, for example, and if they don't have an SSL certificate, when you enter your name, your credit card number, and all these things, an SSL certificate makes it a little more secure and a little less likely that some unauthorized person will be able to see that content. Alright, other than SSL, of course, security plugins. There's so many that you can find and you can look for, just to help keep you up to date with anybody who probably is trying to go into the back end of your website and your unauthorized person. Keep you up to date with all the website activity that is going on behind the scenes when you are not on it, so you can put in whatever enforcement you may need from there. And of course, a backup database is important, which is usually provided with the hosting platform. And that will, in the case of, God forbid, your site gets lost for whatever reason, your site gets hacked, your site gets stolen, a backup database helps you to retrieve a lot, if not all of the information. So those are the important website components. And as you can see in the little corner there, common platforms, that hosting platforms that people use for blogs are WordPress, which is what I use at simplylocal.life. There's also Blogspot, there's also Wix, there's also Weebly. Those are the most popular ones off my head. There are many more, but those are the ones I see mostly in the blogging community. And WordPress is a very reputed platform. I personally have not used anything else, so I cannot speak to anything else besides WordPress. So next, what pages do you need from your website? Outside of the blog content, outside of the articles and posts that you're going to make ever so often to have people coming back to your site and have search engines finding your site, you need a home page, which is what I showed you at the very beginning. You need something that summarizes what your site is about, what your brand is about, what people can expect. It's a first impression. It is the face of your website. So how you lay it out is very important. And as you probably saw in the beginning, a lot of mine, you saw it in a tiered form. That's because my website is mobile responsive, which means if I make the screen bigger, it stretches out. And if I make the screen smaller, it adapts to that. So mobile responsiveness, especially in this day and time when most people are using mobile devices, whether it's them phone or them tablet, that is very important in terms of a user experience, especially if you're selling something. So homepage is the very first thing. An about page. Now, I'm going to admit, at first I did not have an about page because I like to think of myself as a humble person. So in the beginning, I didn't want to have a page that speaks about me, because to me that felt a little vain. You know, I didn't want to focus on me. But later down, I learned the importance of an about page. It gives a summary of who you are, and also it helps people to learn a little more about the person behind the blog, because as you know, you probably experienced it. When people want to work with you, when people want to support you, sometimes it's not so much about the end product. Sometimes it's not so much about the service of the business itself. Sometimes they want to support you as a person. And that has happened so much throughout my short blogging career. So an about page, as trivial as it may seem, it is important to get to the root of the matter. A media kit, which in the blogging world or in the creatives world, not just blogging, it's like a resume, but for the creative industry. So instead of a Word document or file that's saying I went to this school and I passed this exam, etc., it is more speaking to your brand, what your brand is about, what your audience or your following is like in terms of the demographic, their gender, their age, their location, what markets you appeal to more, what features you have been on, where you've been featured in terms of media, other websites, etc., etc. It builds your credibility just like a resume does. So a media kit is good to have on your about page for people to get a quick snapshot of who you are. Hi Jennifer, how are you? Contact page. Main thing, you need a form on your contact page. So people who want to contact you, whether it's other creatives, whether it's businesses that want to partner with you or give you a product or pay you, sponsor you, etc., you need to have a way for them to contact you easily. Because as I said, in this day and age, in social media especially, the more work you give somebody to do is the less likely they are to do it. We are in a fast-paced world where everybody wants to do something like this. So if you just have on your contact page your email address, and you're going to then make the person go to their email inbox, type in your email address and whatever they want to say, it is less likely they will do it. Versus if you have an embedded contact page where they can just submit the information right there, bam, 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 and send it without even leaving the platform. And of course, you need to have your social media pages, because as a blogger, you should be on social media. As a business, you should be on social media, as trivial as it may seem. So have your social media pages and where people can find you outside of the blog, because it's more likely they will be in contact with you more frequently and feel a more personal connection to you via social media. So just quick information, I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and YouTube as simplylocal.life. Easy to remember, same as my website address. So if you want to follow me after this, one page you're going to find it on. Now, of course, as a blog, your website should have blog posts. And one of the most frequent questions I'm asked is, how many times should I post as a blogger? And my honest answer is there is no right answer. There are some people who can post every day, every other day, once a week, bi-weekly, fortnightly, once a month, every couple months. It all depends on you. Me personally, I post on average twice a month. Some months I don't post nothing at all. So I just went 2 months without posting. My last post was in February, and this week alone I have 3 posts. I had 2 over the last week and I have 1 more to post tomorrow. So there really is no right answer. It's really up to you. But as I said earlier, the more you post, the better. Because what a lot of people don't know is the more a website, not just a blog, a website in general, is updated, that is the more likely it is to rank higher on search engines such as Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc., etc. So the more fresh content you have is the more likely that you can be found via search engines and other means for people to land on your website. Privacy policy and disclaimer. Now you can find standard generic ones on the internet and tailor it to your website, but these things are important in this time when everybody is, you know, very protective of their personal information, wondering where their information is going. There's a lot of security measures going on around the internet, a lot of acts to help people feel more secure while they're browsing. So having a privacy policy and disclaimer, even though it may not seem like anything, it could be the difference between a lawsuit, a complaint, an angry person, and nothing at all. So just to be safe, you can find many online, many generic ones. Just read through it and tailor it, because you don't want to be telling the people them foolishness. So yeah. Hi Zizi, I see you asking what do you post. I am a travel blogger, so I tend to post in and around Jamaica, things to do, places to go, and I also promote Jamaican businesses and products. So that is mainly what I post as a lifestyle and travel blogger. Alright, getting back to the show, and feel free to send the questions as they come. I think I'm a little delayed, or the questions are a little delayed, so I may not answer them right away, but I will get to them. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm a full-time blogger, right? And I have been for the past about a year and a half now. I've been doing this full-time. And there is a difference between hobby blogging, which is what I started doing, and business blogging. Now, there are many free websites, which a lot of the blogs you see are probably on free websites, like the ones I mentioned earlier, on WordPress, on Wix, on Weebly, Blogspot, etc., etc. So you may be wondering, what's the difference between a free website and a paid website? So I have this table here. Feel free to screenshot it, or after this live, rewind it, or whatever, however you'd like to refer it. But a free blog is just your space on the internet. If you're doing hobby blogging, free blog is the best. You just want a creative outlet to express yourself, no problem. Do it a free blog. A self-hosted blog now, you have to pay for hosting, which, as I said earlier, is your little space on the internet, and you have to pay for a domain, which is your website URL. Mine is simplylocal.life, just to give an example for anybody who may have came in late. Right? You don't own a free blog. The platform tends to own it, whether it's WordPress, etc., etc. Self-hosted blog, you have more ownership. Of course, you don't fully own it, because there's the hosting where they provide the space for you to do it, but you're more likely to host a self-hosted blog, hence the name. A free blog, it tends to have a long URL. So maybe instead of simplylocal.life, it would have been simplylocal.wordpress.com, simplylocal.wix.com, something between your domain and the .com. Usually is an indication of a free blog, and they usually have very standard templates. So you could find, if you view a lot of blogs on the same hosting platform, you may find that a lot of them look the same, because there's a limited number of templates and a limited freedom to design it as you wish. Now, self-hosted blog, of course, you have a personal URL. It's shorter, it's easier to remember, it looks more attractive, and you have a lot more freedom in terms of designing, so it could be tailored to your personal taste and your personal brand. Same thing with the aesthetics and customization. You have more creative freedom with a self-hosted blog, so you can build your brand easier on a self-hosted blog versus just use a cookie cutter template that looks the same as somebody else's. It's also less likely, but possible, for you to monetize with a free blog. And I say that because from what I've read, this does not apply to me, but from what I've read and heard around the blogging community, a lot of bloggers globally, a lot of them say their main source of income is affiliate marketing, which I'm going to explain a little later. And to do affiliate marketing, which is running ads from somewhere else, such as Google, Amazon, etc., where they place ads on your website, you need to have a self-hosted blog to do that, because it requires some back-end coding and some technical things that you don't have the freedom to do with a free blog. So if you're doing hobby blogging, free blog is great, or it's at least great to start. If you want to do business blogging and make some serious money from your blog, self-hosting is the way to go. Alright, so we're going a little deeper into monetizing your blog. So let's start with affiliate marketing, as I said I would. It's the most common way that bloggers earn. And I have some common affiliates on the side, which you can note. By shop affiliates, I mean places like Amazon or other stores which may have an affiliate program. So maybe your favorite store is, let's just throw a name out there, Sun Island, Jamaica. If you go on Sun Island, Jamaica's website, you can check if they have anything that says affiliates or affiliate program, and they may set up a unique code which usually provides discounts, and from there any sales that they get from people using your code, you get a commission from it. So that's what affiliate marketing is, when other websites and other brands automatically place ads on your site, and based on the viewership of it, you get a commission, and maybe free items or discounted items, but definitely a commission. One thing to note is that each affiliate marketer varies. So the eligibility requirements for different affiliates are different. You may need to have a certain amount of website visitors per month to start an affiliate program. Most bloggers start with Google AdSense because, from what I remember, there is no minimum visitors per month, whereas some bigger ones, you may need 1,500 visitors a month, 15,000 visitors a month, etc., etc. So when you look and find an affiliate that you're interested in working with, it's important to look at their eligibility requirements to ensure that you meet it, because if you don't, even if you're approved, you may get taken off sometime after if they realize you're not meeting the requirements. The earning methods, the commission percentages, and the paying cycles also differ based on the affiliate. So the ones that tend to require a certain amount of web traffic for you to qualify, they tend to pay more, and they tend to take longer to pay, right? So Google is easier to get into, but the pay is very low in comparison to other bigger affiliates. So those are some things to keep in mind. Amazon, for example, I think one of their requirements is you have to sell either 1 to 3 products within the first 90 days, or else you're no longer an affiliate. So stressing again, you have to check the eligibility requirements and see what the payment cycles and methods are like when choosing an affiliate, and make sure it's a right fit for you and you're a right fit for them. Now, another way that bloggers make money, which is the most common question I get, especially living in Jamaica, where blogging generally isn't considered a serious job, or feels like it requires a lot of time or commitment to do. Fair. One of the main ways I personally make money is brand collaborations. So that could be in the form of sponsored posts, whether it is I am paid to visit a destination or review a product and write about it at simplylocal.life, or maybe I am paid to make a post on Instagram, Facebook, etc. People will pay you to post about them on your platform. Similar to advertising, just like people pay newspapers to be placed in an issue, or they pay TV stations to have their ad run during a certain time. It's similar. You're giving them advertising and they're paying to be seen by your audience. Website ad placements. Similar to sponsored posts, but it's an ad. It's an actual ad versus me writing about it versus me sharing my personal experience and thoughts. It is just a picture, a video that the brand has probably created and given you and asked you to put up to be seen. It's a little less personal, but it's another way to collaborate with brands and to make money. Referral commissions. This is probably my third highest money maker in terms of I have partnerships with some brands, some venues where there is a discount code, like I mentioned earlier, similar to affiliate marketing, but it's more personal. So when people make bookings through me to a certain getaway or a certain hotel or a certain restaurant, when they tell that hotel, restaurant, etc., that they are referred by simplylocal.life, they get a discount and I get a commission because I referred them, right? So after this, when you visit simplylocal.life, there's a page called exclusive discounts. You can check it out and see what's there. In the next week, I have, I think, 4 new discounts coming up, so you can look out for that. But in the meantime, you can check out the exclusive discounts of Jamaican businesses that you can get through simplylocal.life. Another way bloggers make money is their products and services. So freelance work, which is what I do most and honestly what pays me heavily. So freelance work is dependent on your skill set, whether that is writing an article for another website besides your own, or in my case, I take pictures sometimes for venues and brands, or I shoot and create videos for them. It's all based on your skill set, but I do get paid handsomely, if I may say, to do freelance work from the services I also run social media ads for other businesses on their pages. So during this COVID time, it is actually my freelance work that has been paying me the most. So you have to learn how to exploit your various skill sets and advertise them, because people follow the blog, they know I can write, but they may not know, okay, you have nice pictures, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're offering nice pictures for me, or you're offering to take a nice video for me, etc., etc. So whatever skills you have, you can monetize it through your blog. Consultation. Some blogging professionals offer consultation. They do audits to tell you, okay, this is how you can improve your website, this is what your website is missing, this is what your website needs, this is how to improve. So blogging coaches, as they're called, also make money through their consultation services. Of course, once you build your own audience, once you build your own brand, you can sell merchandise, maybe with your logo, maybe with a slogan, something, or just something that relates to you. It doesn't have to say simplylocal.life or anything like that, but people will buy things from you. A common thing that I see bloggers make merchandise from is t-shirts. Customized t-shirts. Maybe they create their own design and put it on Teespring or something like that, and customize t-shirts, hats, cups, etc., etc., and sell it through their site. And from their sales, they get a commission, and the site that provides the service probably gets another portion of the payments. Courses and webinars are another way. So you can sell your expertise. You can do a written course, you can do a video course, you can do a live webinar similar to what I'm doing now, except when I'm getting this for free. But you can sell your expertise. So for example, I will be in partnership with Love Not Likes. I will be launching a crash course, about 10-minute video course to talk about live blogging, which is sharing an experience through social media highlights, or what are better known as social media stories. When you share moments that are happening right now, which is popular on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, right? So I'll be doing a 10-minute free course on that. So if you subscribe to my mailing list or Love Not Likes mailing list after that, you'll get exclusive access to that. But that's just an introductory course. So from there, I will be launching a 30-minute course, which is more in depth, which will have more examples, which will have more insights on how to convert live blogging to leads and paying customers, which I have done quite a few times, if I may say so myself. So there's going to be an introductory course for free, exclusive, on my and Love Not Likes mailing list, and from there, if you want to learn more, go more in depth and learn how to turn your social media stories into a money maker, then you can sign up for the paid course that I'm going to do, which is about 3 times longer and more in depth. And I'm not gonna broke your pocket, so look out for that within the next month or so. Alright, so next I'm going to share 3 things that I wish I knew at the start before I began blogging. So those things include SEO, the different uses of the different social media platform, as well as the importance of self-hosting. So self-hosting, as I mentioned earlier, is the best choice if you want to monetize your blog, whether it's now or later. You're not going to make money from your blog overnight or right away, trust me. Right? So the importance of self-hosting, I say I wish I knew that at the start, because I didn't know in terms of affiliate marketing you needed to have a self-hosted site. That's one thing. The second thing is when you go from a free platform to a self-hosted platform, that shift, it negatively periodically affects your search engine ranking. So if you're #1 on Google for a certain keyword search, when you switch your website, your domain name, your host, etc., it's like you have to build that credibility up again. So it's very great to have that from the start, but I know not everybody can do it at the start or plans to do it at the start. That is fine, but the earlier the better. When I say social media benefits, what I mean is each social media platform has their own advantages. I may post similar things on each platform, but I do not post the same thing on every platform, because if you follow me on one platform and you know I'm posting the same thing on another platform, then why are you going to bother following me on the other platform? You get me? So it's important to have different content on different platforms for that reason. But also, you should also note that Facebook has its advantage over Instagram, whereas Instagram has its advantage over Facebook, etc., etc. So a lot of people will say, especially my age, that Facebook is dead, quote unquote. And they say that because since Instagram has emerged, a lot of people have migrated from Facebook to Instagram, or spend a majority of their time on Instagram. And I give it that. But for me, and based on studies I've read, Facebook provides the most web traffic of any social media platform. Facebook and Pinterest. But for me personally, Facebook. I use Instagram for more engagement, better connection, more brand awareness, but I realize in comparison to Facebook and Pinterest, it does not get me web traffic. And as I mentioned earlier, especially with affiliate marketing, Your web traffic is your currency, because the more people that see ads on your site is the more likely they are to click, and the more commission you will get from that viewership and from those clicks. So I personally use Facebook for web traffic. I use Instagram to help in decision makings and with live blogging to showcase an experience. I use it to connect with my audience, because Instagram in general has a more engaged audience. And when I go out the road and somebody recognizes me, usually somebody from Instagram. Pinterest is a very, very, very good social media network for bloggers especially. And I say that because unlike Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, etc., the lifespan is a lot longer. So you know how you can post something on Facebook and Instagram today, and then after 3 days to a week, for the most part, you stop getting engagement on that particular post. Pinterest is the opposite. You can get engagement on a Pinterest post years after you posted one post, and it will keep bringing reoccurring traffic to your site. I get more traffic from Pinterest than I do Instagram, and I spend most of my time on Instagram. So it's really important to see what social media platform works for you and what you should be on and how best it can work for you. Search engine optimization. Now, someone had asked me to expound more on this. I will try, but as I said, search engine optimization is a whole course in itself. But I wish I knew it at the beginning, because I spent maybe 2 months, maybe 3, redoing my whole website. And by redoing, I mean I went through every single article at simplylocal.life and rewrote it, rearranged it, etc., etc., sometime at the beginning of last year after learning SEO. So you can imagine how much time that took, but I'm glad I did, because before I did those changes, I got less than 10% of my overall web traffic from search engines, and now search engines is probably my biggest web traffic referral. It moved from less than 10 to probably about 35 or 40% of my web traffic comes from search engines. So like how I mentioned, I hadn't written before this week, I hadn't written anything in 2 months. I still got consistently hundreds of views a day, and most of them, more than half of them, came from search engine results. And these are old articles. These are articles I wrote months ago, years ago, that people are still finding thanks to the search engine optimization. And just as a quick crash course, some of the easiest ways to improve your search engine optimizations are to define a keyword or a phrase that you want people to find your content for. So my most recent article at simplylocal.life, which was I think yesterday or the day before, I wrote about one of the oldest, probably the oldest coffee estate in Jamaica that's still making coffee, Clifton Mount Estate, right? So as an example, I would like people to find that if they're searching for Clifton Mount Estate, or if they're searching for Blue Mountain Coffee Estate or Blue Mountain Coffee or Coffee Tour Jamaica, things like that. Those would be your keywords, the things people would type into search engines in order to find you. The best advice I can give is identify those keywords and repeat them naturally as best as you can throughout your article, as often as you can, in headings, in paragraphs, any pictures that you're adding to the articles, because you should have visuals. It makes it a lot easier and pleasurable to read when you have visuals throughout your articles. So any pictures you're adding, rename them to have those keywords in them. So in my Clifton Mount Estate example, all of my pictures start with Clifton Mount Estate, Jamaica, and then some random number after it. Just as a quick tidbit, search engines, that's how they identify pictures. So when you do an image search in a search engine, they're not actually looking at the image you sent. They're looking at the page that it's on and the words surrounding it and the names of the pictures themselves, of the alt text on the pictures, etc. That is how search engines find images to do image searches for you, in case you didn't know. So rename your pictures to include those keywords. Include those keywords as often as you can in your articles, throughout your headings, throughout your paragraphs. Link older articles into newer articles. So maybe you're reading an article and of course throughout it you will see, oh, I remember when I went here, and you'll see the here highlighted and it's telling you what the here is, so you can probably click and read more if the sentence interests you. When you send people from your site to other pages on your site, the longer people stay on your website is the more likely you are to rank in search engines. So related posts and linking other posts from your site to in different articles, repeating it, making it more likely that people will look around your site versus visit one page and go away. Things like that improve your search engine optimization and make it more likely for people to find you. But search engine is a whole course in itself, but those are the basic points. So finishing off, I think I have maybe 2 more slides here to show, if they will decide to load. But you should always promote your blog, and I don't just mean share it one time to social media. I mean find events, current events that are happening that may be what you'd say relevant to a blog post you made in the past. Give it some new life. Make people continue to share it even after you had published it long ago. That's one way. Share it on your social media pages, as well as make it shareable easily so other people can share it. So have share buttons on the page so people can share it with their friends, with their families, with their own audience. The easier it is for them to share, the more likely it is that they will share. Other ways to promote your blog: collaborate with other brands and creative. This is not everybody for themselves thing. Collaborate with other bloggers, photographers, directors. Collaborate with brands, which is one good way to make some money. Have your reach extended. Reach new people so you can build on your existing audience, grow your following, and then of course build your influence from there. Oh wait, hold on. See, I didn't even realize this was stuck. So I see some comments which I did not even realize were there. Since I'm almost done, let me just finish this slide and then I will address these comments. I'm so sorry I didn't see them before. Darn scroll bar. Yeah. Also, guest post on other blogs. Okay. I thought I was frozen for a while there. Excuse me. Guest post on other blogs. Collaborate with other bloggers within your niche, or of course where your information would be relevant to their audience. Find them. Build a relationship with them. Ask them if you can post something on their website, if they want to post something on your website. Share each other's audiences. Build from there. And of course, guest posts. You can also look at bigger brands, BBC, magazines, airline magazines, etc. You can reach out to them and pitch and say, hey, I would like to do a post on your website. This is what I would like to write about. It would be in this particular word range, and you can get payment from there. That's another way to monetize your services. For example, one of the main ways I get paid is through writing for other websites. And people ask me, how much do I make as a blogger? really, that's a very hard question. There's no set price, especially in different parts of the world. But just to be open and honest, there have been some months I have made $0, zilch, nothing from blogging. There have been other months where I'll probably make 10,000 Jamaican dollars, which is what, probably about 100 US or so. I'm being generous. And there's been other months, including during this COVID pandemic, I would make as much as 200,000 Jamaican dollars or 2,000 US dollars from blogging. So it varies. I personally have not yet found a balance, but I'm just letting you know that it is possible. Because when I started this as a hobby, I really did not expect that I would be able to monetize it. And I thought at best I would probably go to stay at some hotels or some places for free and get free stuff. That was the extent of my dream. I never thought somebody would say, hey, I want you to write for me and I will pay you $1 US per word and I want 1,000 words, etc. The sky is the limit. So do what you can. Blogging is and can be a business, but it's not an overnight sensation. And to wrap up, my top advice is to invest in your blog and yourself. And I mean both in terms of time and in terms of money. You're going to end up doing a lot of free work in the beginning or a lot of unpaid work, but trust me, it can and will pay out in the end if you stick to it. Learn your stats, because especially when you want to work with brands, they will ask you that. They will ask, what are your web visitors like? What is your following like? How many people visit your website a month? What is the demographic of your typical audience? Things like that. You need to give them an idea of the return on investment that they can expect. Reach out and follow up with brands, with other bloggers, with businesses that you want to collaborate with. Trust me, it is very rare that the first time you ask or propose to work with somebody that they will say yes. Trust me. A lot of the money and partnerships I'm getting today, they are months or years in the making. Is somebody I asked and at first they said no, and somehow, someway, something I do come back and they say, hey, you know, you're still interested in working, or I will just reach out to them again and they say, yeah, now is a better time, I'm more open to it now. So you have to have that persistence. Another important thing, form agreements, form documents, and get confirmations in writing. So any agreement you make with any brand, especially when it comes to money, if them say yes, have it written out and said, this is what is going to happen, this is what we're going to do, this is what you can expect, this is how much it is. Get it in writing, get the confirmation in writing. Trust me, it can save you a lot of headache. You might not think about it in the beginning, especially if you don't consider yourself a professional blogger, but it can save a lot of headache. So those are my top tips, and now that I know there are questions which my scroll bar wasn't allowing me to see, let me go and answer those real quick while I leave you with a preview of simplylocal.life on the side while I answer them. Alright, so ZZ Palmer Lewis asks, do you have to pay a fee to set up, and how do you go about doing it for profit? So after this you can rewind. I had shared the difference between a free blog and a self-hosted blog. So for a self-hosted blog there is a fee to set up, but you don't have to have a self-hosted blog. It's just better in the long run if you want to monetize it. How I go about doing it for profit, I sell my services, whether it's writing for somebody, taking pictures for somebody, running ads for somebody, making a video for somebody. That's how I make money. Similar to newspaper and TV, people will pay you to promote their business on your platform because you are giving them visibility. So don't think, oh, I only have 1,000 people following me or 500 people following me, nobody not gonna pay me. That's not true. My first paid blog feature, I had less than 1,000 followers. and the person reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them, so I was very surprised. So don't think that your audience is too big or too small to monetize, but you have to do some free work in the beginning. It's not going to just happen like that. Joan says, thanks for sharing these, great info. Thank you so much, Joan. Xavier Murphy, what do you do when you have writer's block? Honestly, I don't write. I'm being very honest. I do not write when I have writer's block. What I try to do, and I admit I don't do it as often as I would like to or as I should, but I try to write one solid paragraph a day. I tend to write whatever comes to my head, like as a draft first, and then I tailor it up and tailor it up and tailor it up until I'm satisfied with it. But when I have writer's block, I don't do anything. So that's why I mentioned before I went 2 months without blogging, and now in this week alone I've written 3 things. So yeah, that's just me. Good night, Lorna. Thank you, Lorna. Lorna says, I'm putting out some good information. Thank you. I see Nisha. Hi Nisha, I know you. Say you were doing auto share for a while. I personally do not do auto share because, as I say, I do not share the same exact thing to every platform. Maybe I'll share the same picture, I'll share the same article, but I will tailor the message so it's more fitting for that audience. Or I'll share one thing on one platform and not share it on the other, because after a while I realize what works for different platforms and what doesn't. Auto share is easy, but as I say, if you're sharing the same thing to every platform, why is one person going to follow you on all the platforms if them know if them see it here, they're going to see it somewhere else? Okay, Garth wants to know, hi Garth, how are you? How long did your blog take before you started earning? So the first time I got paid, and I don't mean consistently, the first time I got paid for anything regarding my blog, it was probably 6 months in, and at the time I wasn't looking to get paid. It was just a hobby. At most I was looking for some discounts or some freeness. So 6 months in was when I got my first paid job through my blog. When I started earning consistently, it was probably maybe a year and a half in is when I started getting consistent sponsored posts, because that was my main way of making money before affiliate marketing and before doing freelance work and contributed articles. Once you started to apply your SEO knowledge, what was the rate at which your web traffic grew in the first 3 months? First 3 months, well, let me mention that SEO is a long-term thing. You don't do SEO practices and see results the very next day or the very next week. Usually it will take at least a month, and I'm being very generous here, before SEO starts to kick in. In the first 3 months, I don't remember fully, and I'm afraid to bring it up right now, honestly, because I feel like it will freeze the platform I am on, but I'm going to guess. I know before I did SEO, my organic search traffic through search engines was about 8 or 9%. The first 3 months, I think it probably went to, I would guess, about 12% in the first 3 months. Now it is like about 40-45% of all my web traffic. So that's search engines, that's social media, that's my email list, that is people directly typing in my website, finding my website on other websites, etc. Search engine is my top prefer, and it's about 40 to 45% right now, a year and a half later. Alright, is that the last question? Just know that blogging takes patience. You have to enjoy and love what you're doing. It definitely does, and it's definitely not a walk in the park. As I say, you're not going to make money right away, and it takes a lot of investment of time, and the money adds up. And yeah, you have to do what you love. As Xavier said, sometimes you get writer's block, and you do, you know, you really do. So when you can't write and you're just putting out something for the sake of putting out something, chances are, at least in my experience, it's not at a usual standard. You don't want to put out something that you're not pleased with, or at least I don't. Other things you can do when you're not putting out content for whatever reason is share old articles or revamp old articles, because really the more you change your content on the site, the more you add to it, the more you edit it, is the more likely it is to rank higher in search engines. So updating old articles and giving them new life, that's something you can do when you are not producing new content. Another thing you can do, as I mentioned earlier, is collaborate with other bloggers, collaborate with other creatives, and ask them maybe to do a post on your site, because that will then bring some of their audience over to your site to see what they're putting out. So you can do that as well. Alright, so thank you. I was trying to keep it within half an hour, but I know some chat enough, so that didn't work out. But thank you all for your lovely, encouraging comments. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you to Jamaicans.com and Storyteller Agency for hosting me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you will visit simplylocal.life, travel and lifestyle blog. If you're Jamaican, planning to come to Jamaica, I'm sure you love it. Find what to do, where to swim, where to stay, where to eat, as well as freebies, discounts, local deals. Support Jamaica, buy Jamaica, build Jamaica. I'm Jhunelle. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.